Welcome everyone, and in today's episode of Best Builds we will be talking about recently released Japanese assault landing ship, a new class in the game and what it can do. Let's start with the basics. JS Katori has a really impressive HP indicator in 520k, which is comparable to all ACVs in the game. 22 knots of speed, although in reality it will give out somewhere around 20 to 21 stably, which considering its size feels quite slow. Maneuverability of 9.75 points, although it is slightly more than the previous JS Akizuki, but again, due to its size, it feels slow. These are all characteristics that are important for you to know. The rest, well, they just exist, but they are not really important. Now, I usually talk about what weapons I put on a ship, but this ship is so special that I need to first talk about its shortcomings that affect what we put on this ship. Let's start with the obvious. JS Katori is simply huge. Its size is comparable to many cruisers, although it is a little short of the size of an ACV, from which follows the disadvantage. Hiding such a ship somewhere behind an island or an oil rig is like squeezing water from a stone, literally impossible. Moreover, when you become the main and release your marine drone, as it says in an official video,
so feel free to leave your main ship in some shelter and go hunting.
any ACV with a negative IQ and a bomber on board can confidently say that now you are not in control of your ship.
Oh, that's hot. That's hot.
What doesn't add to safety is the fact that the JS Katori glows like a Christmas tree on the radar, even when it's not in the line of sight, because the ship was created without the intention of hiding it from the enemy. Considering your not particularly high mobility and huge size, with a limited number of air defense system and 520k HP, you literally become a free bonus code for damage, which can do little for ACV's units. What doesn't add joy is the fact that the AI on your drone is not very smart, and if you leave it to control the drone, it will still surface. Why? Because it wanted to, and there is nothing you can do about it. As soon as you leave to check your mothership, the AI will simply surface, which automatically make your drone vulnerable to any type of weapon. Considering its small HP reserve of 58k and the complete lack of any countermeasures, with the exception of underwater traps, which are usually inherent to submarines, your drone can be taken out with just one shot.
What's up, baby? Did you miss me?
Two Scalp naval missiles are enough and your submarine will be requalified as a convenient artificial reef. And considering that now almost every ship has 2 missiles in one missile slot, I can say that your drone will be destroyed after one shot and will go into cooldown, and you only have 2 such drones on board. Accordingly, I made the build for this ship with the expectation of maximum efficiency, and unfortunately it is not very friendly to beginners. For them, I would advise simply leaving the ship in its basic configuration if you have nothing better on your account. As for missiles, I would recommend almost any missile except for laser guided, because the AI doesn't know how to use it properly. This list of non-laser guided missiles includes Scalp Naval, BrahMos 2, Type 40, DF-17 and so on and so forth. Again, the ship comes standard with the Type 40, and if you are new to the game, I advise you to not change anything. The main gun is locked and inflict generally acceptable damage. As for the grenade launcher, it is better to put either FQF 6000 or the RUR 5C SRO. The Type 626 or the cheap A22 can also do, but I must warn you that the A22 cannot fire at underwater targets. It destroys torpedo from a long distance, but cannot do anything to a submarine. Alternatively, you can install a grenade launcher from the current event. Now, the most important part is helicopters. Usually I skip this part since they don't really affect damage, but on JS Katori there are 2 of them and they are able to protect the ship. The helicopter I recommend is the one and only AP Fujin. No one else is suitable. AP Fujin is one of the most powerful helicopters, which is also capable of firing on both sea and air targets. Therefore, it's well suited as a defender. Next on the list is an autocannon, and here it really solves the problem with air defense. The only option that is suitable for JS Katori is the Type 30. A couple of them are capable of causing significant damage to any enemy aircraft. Air defense system should be chosen exclusively missile-based. Avoid any system with guns on board, otherwise they will mainly shoot at ships rather than at aircraft. The list of those you should avoid is on the screen. As for the recommended ones, it's either the R440 or Titan 83. As for the drone, all I can say is that since it's not in a locked slot, we'll probably see more of these drones in future updates. We can already get Type 1 or 2, but it's an gacha and I highly doubt anyone will use it, considering that items from the gacha are not sold on the market. As for tactics, first of all, you shouldn't follow the developer's advice.
So feel free to leave your main ship in some shelter and go hunting.
At least on every map. Yes, you can play like that, but it will be terribly ineffective and you won't be able to implement such tactics on every map. Most likely you will either hide next to the CVs in these locations, which cannot be called an effective tactic. Given the wide arsenal of weapons at JS Katori, it's best to go next to an ally and use the drone as fire support and possibly reconnaissance. Switch into the drone every couple of seconds in order to shoot your arsenal and then go back to the mothership, which does much more damage. If you still want to try to play as it said in the official video, then first find a secluded place, then rise the helicopters, and only then launch your submarine. Keep in mind that the amount of air, weapons and HP on this drone is extremely limited, so this drone is suitable only for quick raids, after which it needs to quickly return to the mothership, since there is no way to reload weapons on the submarine, just like there is no HP recovery. The only way to replenish weapons and HP is to return to the mothership, and to avoid being hit, it is better to be underwater, since there are no heat traps on board. It's worth saying that in the escort mode, the JS Katori is an almost ideal ship due to its high profile, allowing it to cover oil tankers, as well as because of the insane number of air defense points that can close the sky for the entire squad, intercepting even missiles flying towards your allies. And an excellent gun and underwater drone allow it to play just as effectively in the attacking team, being a good ship for disabling enemy escorts. In the end, we have a huge ship with good firepower and unique mechanics. In some ways, it's a breath of fresh air for the game. Personally, I expect more ships like British HMS Albion and HMS Bulwark, and the Argentinian one. By the way, I noticed that the JS Katori and USS San Antonio are similar to each other, only the radar is different. What do you think about this? Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this video and found it useful for someone. Thanks for watching and good luck in your naval battles.